So the next one that I'm here to talk about is one of my favorite methods. I'll kind of bunch them together because they essentially can be French contrast or the potentiation clusters. The French contrast, I give credit to Gilles Cometti, who's the French scientist that wrote about it, but all honesty, I think it was the coach of Warner Gunther who if you look up Warner Gunther shot put videos, is doing some variations of French contrast. World record in the shot, I think, for a short time before it was taken by Randy Barnes. French contrast method, it was Warner's coach that, and I do not know his name, I will look that up and give credit, that kind of invented it, but then Gilles Cometti was the one that wrote about it. Now, I just took that, I feel, and made it better in many of my posts, the potentiation clusters, it's called. I think I made it better just by improving the quality, but this is one of the most effective plyometric training methods, speed development methods, honestly, I've ever seen. And we'll talk about how to use the range methods through there that you can do. So, for example, and what French contrast essentially is let's say you do a heavy load, let's say you go a heavy squat, right? We do a heavy squat. Then quite often you'll see me do a hurdle hop, and then you'll do a loaded jump, okay? And then what you'll do is another plyometric. So with that being said, I do kind of like those. So I do a heavy back squat, a hurdle hop, a loaded jump, and a plyometric. Now, here's where it gets really cool, is the fact that all the variations within the French contrast, we can talk about these three positions because you have a jump, a plyo, and it doesn't have to be hurdle hop, but I do love hurdle hops, okay? A hurdle hop. And so you can basically apply all three here. Okay, now what I would do personally is I might do the hurdle hop, okay, which is, let's say it's a top end level. So I want my athletes to spring through and not get very deep. So they do hurdle hops kind of like a traditional track athlete would for joint stiffness qualities, okay. Then what they would do is a loaded squat jump. And what I might do is have them hold a Hex Deadlift bar, which with the Hex Deadlift, basically you drop down to the mid-range zone. Now I would probably use the banded Hex drop jump in that situation for the advanced athletes. There's different ways to progress it, okay, with that Hex band. And then what I like to do is what I call the accelerated, where the bands are hooked to the ceiling. I would probably go all the way down deep into position and do it reactive. But again, look, you can do this, you can do all these with a pause. You can progress them through your contrast. You can do them with a rebound. You can do the last two with a thrust method here. Okay, you can do thrust. Here, you can do ASFM. So you can imagine all the combinations of this to make it sport specific. Now look, to me, this is, again, the art of coaching and the art of making your athletes better, and then with some basic individualization, I think you can pick out each one of these. Now here's what I may do. I got some pretty amazing Excel people, and what I do is maybe I have a French contrast sheet built so that these three plyometrics, we range out the combinations. So you do a drop down box, you pick out whether it's a mid range, whether it's a bottom range or a top range. Then you pick out the method of whether it's a rebound, it's a pause, how many weeks you want to do it, and you can just build this out on an Excel sheet to individualize it for everybody. Maybe I work on that. I'm not making any promises on that sheet that it'll get posted soon, but I think that's what I need to do, because then you can have an athlete, so they have a normal workout, but then you can label the exercise of what it is, and then you can turn around and use all these different, hey, you're at bottom range, you're at mid range, you're at top range on this exercise, you're doing a pause here, you're doing a thrust method here, ASFM here, we're doing this unloaded, but you can see, if you know, and I didn't explain French contrast very well, so it's a set of back squat, hurdle hops, loaded jumps, plyos, and you're doing about 3 to 5 reps all the way down, okay? And with that being said, then you rest and you do it again. You do that about 4 sets. I have plenty of information on French contrast and potentiation clusters. But this is how it would work for a coach. And I think I have some pretty good Excel people. I will have them build out all the combinations that this could be so that a coach can come in here, take this ranged method, and use all the different concepts that I speak about in this video to build out each individual sheet for the athlete and make it fairly simple, because I don't think it would take very long, to be honestly, especially if you labeled the exercise, you did a drop down for what range, you did a drop down for any of the specialized methods.